Retro Ghetto.
Okay, now the 3.0 is tidy once more. Welcome to this week's vlog. And we are going to kick it off with some unboxings. I've been sitting on a few of these boxes for a few days now, so as always I'm itching to get these open. There's various different things in here. We've got gifts, I've got stuff that companies have sent me. I've got a very heavy hitter sat down at the bottom. There's games, there's all sorts in here. But not only this, I'm actually waiting for a couple of parcels still to come in the post. Hopefully they'll be here for this vlog. One of which is something very important for me and the channel, so hopefully that'll be on this vlog as well. And once I've gone through this, I'm going to outline some big plans that we've got for this week. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to have to be very careful with opening some of these because I haven't had the time to take my address off, so I'm going to, if it looks a bit awkward, you know why I'm trying to hide my address. Equally, a couple of these have already been opened for full disclosure. So okay, let's get into it, shall we? First one. This is a gift from a viewer of the channel that reached out to me via Instagram. He saw my vlog, I think it was like 2 weeks ago now, where I went to Game and I tried to take advantage of the deal that they had on The Last of Us Part 2 on the PlayStation 4. They were selling these really cheap, so cheap that you could actually double your money in terms of CX credit. However, I missed out on it. But this very kind chap, appreciate it my friend, reached out to me on Instagram, said he was able to take advantage of that deal, picked up a few and he sent me one across. I was going to keep one for my collection of the multiples I intended to buy simply because I kind of played through this at launch. This was one of the rare games I actually paid full price for and bought on day of launch, and I kind of played through it as quickly as I could just to get through the story, see how it progressed and then trade it back in CX to maximise the money that I'd spent on it because I paid full price. But it's one of them that I would like to revisit and sort of take my time with it and enjoy the gameplay a little bit more. So I was sort of critiquing the game based on its story and I wasn't a huge fan of how it ended. I thought the last couple of chapters were unnecessary and that was kind of my takeaway. But upon reflection, it's a very good game and I think I need to go back to it and just look at it with different eyes, if that makes sense, and just enjoy it for what it is and enjoy the gameplay more so than, as I say, critiquing the story. So thanks again my friend, really appreciate you sending me that. I'm going to be playing that hopefully this year. That can get added to the backlog. Okay, so next up we have got a new release from a company that I've actually sent me stuff before. I'm a big fan of this company. It's actually called Geeks Publishing. I'll put all the information, of course, in the description below. They've previously sent me some of their fantastic anthologies that they do on various different video game consoles. Of course, previously, the one I kept hold of, I think I gave away a Nintendo one. I think Marcus over at Danlands Gaming, shout out to them. I think he won the giveaway that I did, but of course I had to keep the Super Nintendo one for myself. And these books are fantastic, right? I think they pretty much cover every single game in full. And you look at that, nice high gloss images. And let me tell you, books aren't cheap these days, right? They're anything but cheap. That's why you want to see a real quality. You want that, you know, if you're going to buy something for the tactile nature of it, to have it in your hands, you want to see something that's had a lot of love and care put into it. And let me tell you, Geeks are 100% the company that do that. These are fantastic books. So they sent me one of their new releases. Again, I'm going to be careful because I'm not showing my address. So they reached out to me and said they've had a couple of new ones coming out, 2 different consoles, and I chose this one to look at, and that is the GameCube anthology. Obviously I haven't yet opened this, I've not had a chance to look at it, but if it's anything like the ones I've previously seen, they're fantastic books. You guys will be seeing the overlay images now on screen, and yeah, like I've already said, this company put a lot of love and care into these anthologies. All the links will be in the description below, and I just want to give a massive shout out to Geeksline for always coming through. They've always been supportive of my channel and they always reach out to me when they have new goods being released, so I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, and if you're interested in this kind of thing, make sure you're checking them out. And let's look at some retro video game goodness, shall we? This first one came courtesy of a Facebook group. I believe there's quite a high-end seller and he was selling a few of his titles off. This is a game I've been wanting for quite some time. It's one of them that keeps going up and up in price, right, as a lot of games do on this console. I think CX selling this for £40 and he let me have this for £25 posted. It's not in mint condition by any means, but at that price, I'm just delighted to have it. So let's get into it. Clearly a fan of CEX. The good old Guillermo rap, right? Telltale sign of CEX. Let's get into it. And that is Super, of course, Adventure Island. Super Adventure Island is a 1992 Hudson Soft side-scrolling platformer. Originally, the Adventure Island series was on the original Nintendo. They did number 1, number 2, and strangely, number 3, which actually came out after this Super Nintendo release. This game is really known for its great graphics. As you'll be seeing now on screen, it's got a really nice sort of pixelated graphical style. The only sort of criticisms I've seen of this game is that the sprites are a little too big on the screen, which visually make it very nice, but I think maybe makes it a little bit harder to control, certainly compared to its NES counterpart. But listen, as much as this game is supposed to be somewhat of an average platformer, I love old 90s platformers, right? I say that all the time on the channel. This is just one that I've been wanting to add to my collection for quite some time. And let's take a look at it then. So look, again, we can see there's a bit of damage in the corner, which is not uncommon with Super Nintendo games. But other than that, generally not too bad. Once I clean this up, put it in a box protector, I think this will be fine. And again, given the price that I got this for, £25 posted, to have a complete version of a game that I've been actively pursuing, yeah, really happy with that. And hopefully we'll get a chance to play this and I'll be able to give you guys my thoughts on Super Adventure Island in the non too distant future. But it is now time to delve into this one. This is going to be one of them, right? This might even be controversial, I don't know. This is a very, very heavy hitter. All is not quite as it seems, so bear with me on this. I'm going to try and do my best to explain it to you. But basically, this game at CEX is, I think, £280, and I think the cheapest one you can buy on eBay is sort of similar price, £300 to buy it complete. Let's get into it, shall we? It's a game that I didn't know if I'd ever own, if I'm being completely honest with you. And that is Terra Enigma. This is a 1996 action RPG, and you guys know I'm not a big fan of turn-based RPG, so action RPG is right up my street. And this is part of the famed Quintet trilogy on the Super Nintendo, which also contains Soul Blazer and another game that I played through last year, Illusion of Gaia, or in this country, The Illusion of Time. As I say, it's just one of them games that's so highly regarded, hence the price of it, right? This is like a £300–400 game, but let me get into this one. I bought this on eBay, and this is box only. So yes, I spent £100 on an empty cardboard box, but I still think I got a good deal. The way it worked out was I won the bidding on this on eBay for something like £80-something. And eBay didn't alert me to the fact that the seller is based in America, even though the game was based in the UK. So the postage price was a UK postage, but then the tax was added to it after. This is what me and the seller sort of surmised after I messaged him and said, why am I being charged £20 more than I won the bidding for? Because I won it on like £80-something, and then when the invoice came, it was like 100. The seller was a really nice guy, and what we agreed to do was he took off my initial postage cost, and we then halved the amount of the additional import cost, if that makes sense. So I think it ended up costing me less than £90. It was like 88, maybe something like that. So shout out to the seller for doing that for me. But this is in pretty good condition. Again, not mint by any means. You can see there's a little bit of a bending up there and there. And what I would say is, obviously it'd be nice if there was a manual in here. There isn't. This was box only. It did come with the sort of Nintendo, you know, the standard sort of health and safety booklet, all that kind of stuff that you get with these. I was actually paranoid when I first got this. I sort of felt it, you know, when things kind of feel a little bit off. And I was so unsure that I kind of took to one of the high-end Super Nintendo collectors groups on Facebook, where I was pretty much belittled, if I'm being honest, for being paranoid. Everyone said it was legit, it looked legit, theirs was the same. There was one other guy who said exactly the same thing as me. He said when he bought his version, he thought the same thing, that it just felt a little bit different. It's one of them things, unless you're a Super Nintendo collector, it's really hard to describe. I think it might be because it was a later release, 1996, so it could have been slightly different cardboard or slightly different finish, I don't know. But yeah, I'm confident after speaking to many people that this is a legitimate box. And again, shout out to the seller, really nice bloke. And yeah, what I'm going to do now is obviously buy the cartridge. So this is sort of what my thinking is. I'll pair this up with a cartridge, and then down the line I'll obviously look to add a manual if possible. But for what, let's just say £85, it was roughly that from what I can remember, to buy the box, which is often the most expensive component of a game. For a game which sells for £400, I think I did well. And it's just one of them games where, if I'm being honest, if I didn't do it in this way, similar with some of the other games I've got up here, like Super Hagane and some of the other heavy hitters, I would never own it. I would never go out and spend £300-400 on this game in one go. It's just never going to happen. So for me to have the opportunity to piece it together like this, it's the only way that I'm going to own this game, and it's just a game that I'm very happy to own. And now I have that inspiration to go and find the cartridge so I can play through it, add it to this, and get it put on the Super Nintendo wall, because I'm not going to allow myself to put this on the Super Nintendo wall until it's complete. But yeah, really happy to be adding a game of this ilk, I guess, to my collection. It's just one that I didn't expect to be adding to my collection anytime soon. So yeah, that's my immediate pickups. There's loads coming. I've ordered quite a lot of stuff. I think there's like 3 games I'm waiting on. That very, very special parcel, which I'm really hoping is here for this vlog. And there's a couple of things that I'm also going to be showing on Wednesday's episode. I've got something quite special planned for Wednesday, so make sure you're checking that out. But right, let's get into it then. The plans. My immediate plan, tonight I'm going to play some games. I'm going to try and finish Skyblazer. That's a game that I've been actively playing through, really enjoyed it. And then tomorrow I'm going to attempt the impossible. Previously on these vlogs, I've done 30 charity shops in one day. I'm going to try and hit up 40. I don't even know if I can do it, right? Because, you know, I'm a grown adult with responsibilities. So time is obviously going to be against me. But the plan is to try and hit up 40 charity shops tomorrow. So obviously I'm going to be taking you guys along for the journey with me. I've not worked out all the schematics yet. I don't exactly know where I'm going, where I'm starting. I'll let you guys know in the morning. I'm going to sort of look at my Google Maps and everything tonight. But I'm really excited about it. And I can only assume we're going to find stuff, right? I mean, I don't want to sort of tempt fate, but I usually find stuff, and when you're visiting that many charity shops, I'm going to ask all 40 if there's any games in the back, and we'll see what we can find. And yeah, I think it's going to be an epic hunt, to say the least. So yeah, really looking forward to that. There is one more box that I need to go and sort out, so we'll go and look at that now. Let's do it. Okay, so the last parcel for me to open today is outside in the gym area. This big one here. I went to Argos yesterday to buy, this is basically like outside storage, like garden storage. I want to really tidy up this area, and that involves a lot of like getting my weights and peripherals and stuff out of the way. So I'm going to build like a little bit of a storage sort of cupboard, as I say. So we're going to build this. This was £35 at Argos. There was a home base next to it. It's one of them Sainsbury's where they're all kind of built into one. Don't tell everyone how old I am. I'm 25.
No, you're 35.
Ignore him. So we're going to get this built. Anyway, yeah, I was saying this was £35. Cheapest one at home base was £55, and it's actually smaller than this one. So if you are looking for this kind of thing, may I suggest Argos. Let's get it done. That is that. It literally took 5 minutes. It's what, 6 pieces of plastic that slotted into each other. Couldn't be simpler. It's not the most sturdy, but I mean, it's 35 quid. But for what it is and what I'm going to use it for, it's going to be pretty much perfect. It's just going to help to keep this place a lot tidier. Hopefully this week I'm going to really come out here, clean, de-weed, do a bit of painting. If not this week, next week, and start to get this ghetto gym fit for purpose. Especially now the weather's getting better and better. Yeah, that's all my unboxing's done. I'll see you guys later. That is Skyblazer. Great game. Oh. Okay, it's not over. I'll be back. Okay, so this time, unless we've got a third incarnation, that is Skyblazer done. Great game, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that as much as any 16-bit game I've played in a long time. It's hard to say it's worth the money with a game that expensive, but it's also nice that when you do buy a game that costs that much money, it is a very enjoyable one. I think that's my 7th or 8th, I think 8th game of the year completed. It took me a long time. There's been a big gap between this one and the last one. I'm blaming Metroid Prime for that, and also the rearranging of my unit and the wires. But yeah, really good game, this one. Would highly recommend it, irrespective of how it is that you get to play it. Because like I say, it is a pricey one, but yeah, just play it any way you can. That's it. I waited for about 10 minutes of credits. Times New Roman, font, the end. Doesn't even look spaced correctly. Nice one, Skyblazer. And now what? I just have to turn it off. Oh, dearie. Retro Ghetto. Good morning on what is Game Hunt Day. So last night I spent the evening playing Red Dead Undead Nightmare. I loved Red Dead and Red Dead 2, and it just felt like one of them things that I needed to play through to sort of complete the trilogy, if you like. And I think it's short enough that I can get it finished before the new Zelda comes out, which is largely going to take over my life for a week or two. So also with me looking at that standee all day every day, it just felt like I really had to get that one ticked off the list. So I think it was a good choice of game to start playing. It's about 8:30 in the morning now. I've already been up for best part of 3 hours, so I've worked out, ate twice already, so I'm definitely ready for this game hunt. I'm actually prepared for once. Like I said, it's going to be an epic day. We're going to try and hit up at least 40 different charity shops. I've got a bit of a route. I didn't want to take too many risks in terms of going places that I've never been before, so I'm going to do a bit of a tried and tested route. The Colville, Ashby-de-la-Zouch and Swaddling Coat route, which I've done a couple of times on this vlog. Always quite successfully. I've always had quite fruitful finds. But then I'm also going to finish that with all the locals and the Burton-on-Trent, which is where you often see me frequent CX, etc. So I'm hoping by the time I amalgamate everything together, we'll have reached that magical number of 40 charity shops. I'm going to take little man to school now, then we're going to head straight to Colville. We should be there for about 9:30, which is when most charity shops open. So yeah, I'll see you there. Okay, so I made it to Colville, a Leicestershire town with a population of almost 35,000 according to the 2011 census. Facts. Right, also home to a lot of charity shops and the CEX. We're going to nip to CEX because I've got that Battle Royale DVD and a couple of other bits that were lying around my game room that I need to trade in. But yeah, let's go and hit up some of these shops, shall we? Number one. Okay, so first charity shop of the day, and I did find myself a game. It's nothing special. It's Forza 2. I'm pretty sure I don't have this one. I think I've got Forza 3, but I'm slowly going for all the arcade races on the 360, so I'll pick it up for £1. CX sell it for 2, so it's worth picking up. It's complete, decent condition. Hopefully we'll find better things on our travels. I won't show you guys every single game I pick up. I'll probably do a lot of the pickups when we get back to the 3.0, but here we go, number 2. Okay, 2 charity shops, and both have had games that I picked up for my collection. There was a couple of games in that one I probably could have picked up. There was Drive Club for the PS4, sells for £4. There's only £2.50 trade-in. I'm not a big PS4 collector. I don't need more PS4 games I'm not going to play that don't have value in the trade-in, so left that behind for £2.50. But I did pick up a game that I'd never even seen before. We will look at that when we get back to the 3.0. But yeah, I've got a YMCA charity shop right in front of me. So let's go for the third stop. Do you want me to come and help you though? Do you want a hand? Oh. It's a big box of VHS.
Yeah. You're trying to make sure I get DVDs out for you. The thing, if you want to just stand there and
yeah, I'll have a quick look in them, lovely. Thank you. Cheers. Wow, so they had an amazing VHS collection in there. Someone was obviously a martial arts fan, big Jackie Chan fan, that had all been traded in. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to martial arts of that era. I love martial arts films, and it was one of the rare VHS that I do actually collect for. I did pick up one, I'll show you when I get back. Okay, so I got my voucher from CEX. There's nothing else in there that I really wanted to add to my collection. I asked if they had any retro, and they said somebody came in this morning and bought everything. Said they had Mega Drive games, Pokemon games, Super Nintendo. So yeah, maybe I missed out, who knows, but somebody apparently came in and cleared out the whole section, so somebody obviously had some vouchers and it was their time to spend them, so yeah, good luck to them. Colville, got a few things in my bag actually, mostly for my collection, nothing in terms of value that we'll trade in. We're heading now to Ashby-de-la-Zouch. Okay, so here I am in the very noisy Ashby-de-la-Zouch, a town which got its name when it was taken by the La Zouch family during the Norman conquest from King Henry III. More importantly, it's a terrible place to park, and there's more traffic wardens here per square mile than anywhere else in the country, but there's also a lot of charity shops, so wish me luck. Tell you what, the Normans can keep Ashby-de-la-Zouch, not a sausage. Actually, there was a sausage. I didn't even plan that. But besides that toy sausage, there was nothing at all. So, right, let's get over to Swadlincote. We've still got a lot of places to check out. The day's far from done. Okay, so I've made it to Swadlincote in South Derbyshire, which is most famously known for its pottery and mining culture. Hopefully today it's going to be put on the map for its fantastic array of video games and charity shops. Let's go. So that charity shop had a glass cabinet full of Skylanders figures. Now if you're anything like me, you won't have a clue about Skylanders. But what I do is, I just go on the CEX app, type in Skylanders, and then just scroll through and find the ones that have some value to trade, and then just cross-reference and see if they have that one in stock. On this occasion they didn't, but it's a worthwhile tip if you ever find any when you're out and about, just to cross-reference it against CEX, and there are money if you can find the right ones. Okay, so Swadlincote was a bust, and we're now in Burton-on-Trent, famous for its brewery, hence the name of the local football team, the Brewers. Brews Carlin, which has got to be the most disgusting lager on the UK market. But again, a few charity shops, there's a CEX, let's go and take a look. privileges in scope. I don't know where to begin. This could take a while. This is mad. There's just stuff everywhere that you know how to look. Can't even move. You're breaking something. I don't think I've seen one video game. Oh. Finally. This is where the Wii games were. No. Jackpot. Oh no. I love it anyway. Yes, we'll take that. Nice, nice. So many bags. There's another game. What's that? Oh yeah, that's a win. That's a win. Oh, that was crazy. I had pretty much written today off. Genuinely, that was the last stop in Burton. I'm going to do a couple of the locals on the way home, which I do every day anyway, but if you know Burton, you'll know this is like down the back end, and we've covered them all. Genuinely, the last one in Burton-on-Trent. Like, you couldn't write it. You could not write it. If ever there was a message to keep going. Nothing amazing, but I just feel buoyed by it. The fact that I was able to go in that back room and it was just crazy in there, right? I could have spent hours going through it. I'm really happy with what I found, but it still could have been better. We'll discuss it a little bit more when we get back, but I needed that. I was hungry, I was flagging, and I'd had no success today whatsoever. And like I say, it's enjoying the hunt as much as the finding of stuff, and being in that back room surrounded by boxes that you know no one's been through, blowing the dust off it. Yeah man, that's what gets my blood going. So yeah, like I say, you couldn't write it. Last shop of the day, apart from the couple of locals. And yeah, I'll see you guys back at the 3.0 to talk about what's been an up and down day. I need to get something to eat. Okay, as you can see, we are back in the 3.0 after what was eventually an epic charity shop hunt. I was at most of the day. As you can see, I'm now relaxing. Definitely got my comfies on. Not only are we going to go through this stuff that I found during the hunt, but if you remember earlier in the vlog, earlier in the week, I said I had a very important parcel coming. That has also arrived. So once we get through this, we're going to be taking a look at that as well. But I'm going to do this in chronological order. We're going to sort of go through the day. And the first thing that I found, I already showed you guys on the video itself. And that was this copy of Forza Motorsport 2. I think I probably mistakenly said during that footage that this was an arcade racer. It's not, it's more of a simulation racer. The arcade racer came more in the form of the Forza Horizon series that came a little bit later on. But this is obviously the second entry into this series, and surprisingly for me, this was the only Forza game that I've got on the Xbox 360. I was shocked by that. I was half expecting to see a copy of this sat there. It was one of them games that I see all the time in charity shops, and I think I've overlooked it thinking I already owned it, but to my surprise, I don't own a Forza game on the Xbox 360, so I'm going to have to put that right. I'll probably have them all now within the next few weeks, because these are just games you see in charity shops all the time. And to pick this up for £1, I think they sell it for £2 at CEX, so yeah, just want to add to the collection. You guys know with me having my Xbox 360 kiosk that these are the games that I sort of love playing whilst I'm standing up on the Xbox kiosk, so yeah, just a nice addition for what was £1. So that was the first charity shop visit of the day, and then the second one also was relatively fruitful. I picked up a game that I've never even heard of. I'm not ashamed to say I did not know this game existed, didn't know anything about it, and I must say I love the cover art on it, and that is Space Race. Look at that cover art. Love the artwork on that one. From what I can see, Space Race is a relatively uncommon game. There's only like 20 or so copies at CEX, not the hundreds that you would expect with the sort of Warner Brothers Looney Tunes release on the PlayStation 2 era. This was originally a 2000 release on the Dreamcast and was later ported to the PlayStation 2 in 2002. The Dreamcast version actually got a 9 out of 10 by IGN, and it's very much just a kart racer with all these sort of Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoon antics thrown in, so over the top weaponry and all that kind of stuff, as you'll be seeing on screen now, and definitely one that I'm looking forward to playing. I enjoy most kart races that I play. I think more in recent times there's been a lot of stinkers put out. I think there's quite a few, shall we call it, B-list kart races that have been put out in recent times on the Nintendo Switch and other consoles. But yeah, with this one, with the beloved characters and lineup, it's just one that I'm really intrigued to play. And let me know in the comments if you've ever played Space Race, because I'm probably going to put this on this evening. But yeah, I paid £2.50 for this one. CX sell it for £3.50, and just one that I'm happy to add to my collection. And then my last pickup whilst we were in Colville was at the YMCA charity shop. This is one that I frequented a few times because it's one of the few charity shops these days that still has a dedicated VHS section. And I always say I don't collect VHS, and to some extent that is true. I'm very picky about what films I add to my VHS collection. They just take up so much room, right, in those big boxes. But somebody had clearly bought in what was quite an extensive martial arts collection. Some really nice pieces in there, a lot of films that you just don't see on an everyday basis, and I decided to pick one of those films up. It's one that I've seen years ago, but I would like to watch again, and that is Jackie Chan's Rumble in the Bronx. So in this 1997 amusing action thriller, Jackie Chan outdoes himself with the most eye-popping stunts ever filmed, according to the back of the box. As I've already said, and as you'll be seeing on screen now, there was loads of martial arts VHS in there. So what I decided to do was give my buddy Pedro a shout over at VHS Bootleggers. This really is his kind of speciality, so I know that he drove straight down there, and I think within half an hour he'd pretty much cleared the shelves. So I was happy to let Pedro take some more of these home and give them a good home, someone that'll really appreciate them. But for me personally, I was just happy to add this one to my collection. So after leaving Colville, we hit a bit of a dry spell. Ashby de la Zouch was completely empty. Swaddling Coat was empty. Burton was largely empty. I went through so many shops in those 3 different towns and found absolutely nothing. I'm not going to lie, I was disheartened. The weather was turning. I was growing increasingly hungry and frustrated. And it was genuinely the very last charity shop in Burton-on-Trent. One of the ones I don't always frequent because it's not necessarily on my route to CX and back. It's a little bit further down out the way. But I decided today was the day, and it just like gives a good message, right? It's like you'd have to go to all of them, never give up. And they said to me, have a look in the back room. And those are like the magic fabled words, right? When somebody says that, you don't have to invite me twice. You've seen the footage. I could have spent hours and hours in this back room. I was trying to go through it as fast as I can because charity shop hunters will know. I felt like I was on borrowed time because I've been in places in the past where they've let me in the back room, and that courtesy can quickly be recalled, right? A different member of staff or a manager or somebody can be like, who are you? What are you doing in here? You're not allowed in here. Even though that the last member of staff had a much more relaxed attitude. That happens quite a lot in charity shops. So I was trying to go through it thoroughly, but also trying to go through it as fast as possible before somebody told me to leave. And I did definitely have my best finds of the day in there. But I say it was just that elation of being in that room that was just full from floor to ceiling of stock. That's like what I do this for, right? I could spend all day going through those kind of boxes that people haven't seen in weeks, months, maybe even years. And I'm just going to quickly go through the games that I was able to pull out and that were worth me picking up. So the first one was the Nintendo DS release of Batman. This game must have sold in its millions, both on the Wii and the DS, because I find these all the time. Lego Batman 2, and even on the Wii U I find quite a lot of them in charity shops. So yeah, there's something about the Lego Batman games that for some reason they sold really well, and a lot of them seem to end up in charity shops. I paid just £1 for this one, as I did for all the games that I found in that charity shop, and at the end I'll tell you guys the sort of rough totals as to how much I spent and how much CX would sell all these for. Next up was a really nice find in the lot, and that was the Simpsons game. Anything Simpsons related, pick it up. And once again, this is another title that I find quite a lot on the DS and on the Nintendo Wii. This one always has held quite a good value within CEX. CEX are currently giving £5 trading for this one, so well worth picking up if you ever see it out and about. The next game I was able to pull out of that back room was WarioWare Smooth Move. CEX sell this one for £4. And sat with Wario was Sonic Unleashed. CEX give £3 trading for this one, and they're currently selling it for £6. And then this next find was one that could have taken today from being a good day to a great day. It just wasn't quite meant to be, and that is the 25th anniversary of Super Mario All-Stars. But as you can see, the outer case is very badly damaged, and not only that, it didn't contain the game, unfortunately. but it does contain the CD soundtrack. I always thought this was a DVD, like a making of or a behind the scenes, probably because of the way it's packaged. Really nice condition actually inside, but this is actually the CD soundtrack. I decided to pick it up. As I say, they're only charging me £1 for everything anyway. This will obviously go into the bin, but what I thought was maybe I can find a cheaper version of this down the line, maybe just the game and outer box, and now I've got a nice condition of the CD soundtrack that I can add to it, because as I say, it is one that I've been actively trying to add to my collection. If you watch my recent video where I sort of talk through my life journey with gaming, you will know that Mario All-Stars is kind of where it all began for me. Getting that big yellow Super Nintendo bundle for Christmas that year was pretty much the start of everything that you can see around me in this room, and one of the reasons really as to why I've got a YouTube channel now. So I do feel like this is something that I have to have in my collection just to kind of complete my Mario All-Stars collection, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. But for 99p, I definitely think it was worth picking up the soundtrack. It's also given me that inspiration now and motivated me to go and find a nice clean copy of this, and you know, I've always got the soundtrack now that I can add to it and maybe complete the set for a lesser price. It's certainly not a vintage date in terms of value when you compare this to some of my other charity shop hunts that I've been doing since I've been recording these vlogs. However, I still had a really good day. I've almost got double what I spent, which was just £7.50 in terms of CX trading credit. And if you look at what CX would individually sell this stuff for, it'd actually be almost £30. So not too bad, not too shabby, but by my own standards, I've definitely had better days. But as I've said many times before, it's the thrill of the hunt. I had a great day out, and now it's time to look at that parcel that I've spoken about, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So yeah, upon my arrival back home, there was 3 packages waiting for me. Now these 2 are going to be featured on Wednesday's episode I'm currently working on, so please make sure you check into that one. Keep it locked to the Retro Ghetto, because yeah, I'm going to be opening a couple of things up on that episode. And this one is what I've been talking about. This is a real sort of full circle moment for me as a YouTuber, I guess, a content creator, whatever you want to call it. This, in short, is the first physical game I've had sent to me by a company, like an external company that sells new games. This is the first time I've had a company reach out and want to send me a physical copy of a game. Now, this is certainly not the reason why I decided to get into making YouTube content, but yeah, it certainly feels like a bit of a full circle moment for me. This is something that I'm really excited by, and I just never thought I'd be in a position where companies are sending me video games, right? As you can see, I spend a lot of time and effort into curating video games and adding them to my collection and playing them, and for a company to reach out and send me one because they want me to look at it and show you guys, it's, yeah, a genuine full circle moment. Obviously, I've had quite a lot of companies reach out to me and want me to look at and do various things for them, the majority of which I decline. I'm not somebody that likes to read scripts or do dedicated videos or reviews or anything like that. That's just not what I do, and I never want to have my own content or the videos that I put out influenced by things that I'm sent. All this company asked is that I open it on camera and take a look at it, and I do that with everything that I get anyway, right? So yeah, more than happy. So I want to give a massive shout out to Pixel Heart that reached out to me and have sent me this. I've previously purchased things from Pixel Heart. I actually purchased the Shmuck Collection and Finding Teddy 2 on the Nintendo Wii U, and they've gone on to become 2 of my most valuable games within my whole collection. And this, similar to them, is a limited release. I think there's only 2,000 copies of this, and it's only available on their website to my knowledge. So let's get into it, shall we? Again, I'm going to open it in a kind of strange way because I don't want to show my address, which is on the back. There's more than just a game here. I just wanted to give you guys a better look at my pyjama bottoms, but I've also got my trusty knife now. I'm carefully cut into this one. Okay, so here it is. So full disclosure, Pixel Heart have already sent me a digital code, and this is a game that I've already been playing. I wanted to ensure that I put a couple of hours into it prior to me opening this so that I can give you my genuine and honest thoughts on the game. And that game is Guns and Runs. So as the title suggests, this is a run and gunner with a really nice hand-drawn pixel art style. It's one of them games that you can pick up and play instantly. It's really simple in terms of its controls. You've got a shoot, a jump and a special. However, similar to games like Super Meat Boy and more so Celeste, which I really enjoyed playing through a couple of years ago, It's one of them games that's easy to play, but difficult to master. The levels continue to get increasingly difficult. You will get the odd moves added throughout, and yeah, it really does take a lot of perfection with your timing to get through it, and it's everything that I enjoy in a video game. The short time that I've put into it thus far, I've really enjoyed, and it's definitely one that I can see myself playing to completion if my limited skill set allows me to do so. As you guys can see on the back, it is limited to 2,000 copies, so I have got number 378 of 2,000, and as a collector, I love things that are numbered. I don't know why, it just gives me that, makes it feel a bit more special, right? And let's open it up and let's see what we've got in here. Okay, so let's take a look, shall we? Oh, nice. So you've got the really nice artwork inside, and that's one of the things I would say about this game. The artwork's beautiful. And it comes with a certificate of authenticity. Guns N' Runs Nintendo Switch limited edition of 2,000 copies. Pixel Heart is proud to present Guns N' Runs limited edition, an authentic and original video game built for Nintendo Switch. This certificate guarantees that the item contained within an original limited edition product, individually numbered with passion by our team. And then it's sort of signed, almost looks like it might be hand signed, by the founder of Pixel Heart. And I want to once again give a massive thank you to Pixel Heart for blessing me with my first ever physical video game to show on the channel. So yeah, it really does mean a lot to me, and that's almost going to inspire me more so to get this game finished, because this is going to really have a pride of place in my collection now. It's always going to have that place in my heart as being the first game that a developer sent out to me. So thank you very much to those guys for sending that. But also, it comes with this. So it comes with an envelope. Now there's a giveaway for a life-size replica of the gun used in this game. So everybody gets sent one of these, and if you're lucky, to my knowledge, you get to win a life-size replica of the gun. I already feel like a winner, right? But let's see what's inside here. Okay. So this looks to be like a dice game. So it looks like you can sort of create your own dice, and then there's all the rules and everything written on here. So that's a nice touch as well for them to throw in. Not only a physical game, but what would appear to be almost like a board game of sorts in here as well, with all the rules and everything written down. And you also get these little cards that give all the background information on each of the individual playable characters. So yeah, as a physical collector, I love these kind of extra touches, and yeah, this is just the stuff that I enjoy with these sort of more limited run companies. They do tend to put a little bit more into their physical releases than sort of, you know, the larger companies do. As I say, guys, there was just 2,000 copies of this game made physically, and when I checked prior to recording, there was just 866 copies in stock. I, of course, will put a link in the description below should you be interested in picking this up. And one of the things that I really enjoy about Pixel Heart is that their pricing structure is where you want it to be. I believe this is just £35. I'll be putting sort of confirmation of that on the screen now. But yeah, all I can do once again is give a massive thank you to Pixel Heart for sending this out. If you are interested, a link will be in the information below. Retro Ghetto. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's vlog. Another great week. I mean, what are we, 18 weeks into the year now, and I'm having a great year. I'm really glad I started doing these vlogs, because 2023 has been a really good year for me thus far, and to have it all recorded in these vlogs is, yeah, just something that I'm really glad that I started doing. But more so this week, we've added that Terranigma. Whilst I've still got to complete it, it's just a heavy hitting Super Nintendo game that I never thought I'd be adding to my collection. Certainly not anytime soon. We've had that epic hunt, even though I've had more fruitful hunts. It was still a good day out. I still enjoyed it, and for me, being in a back room full of goodies made that one worthwhile. And then, of course, the highlight for me was probably being sent that game by Pixel Heart, just because, yeah, real sort of full circle, seminal moment for me and my channel to, you know, I never thought I'd be in a position where people would be sending me physical copies of video games. As you see, I've spent a lot of time buying them over the years. So yeah, to be in a position where somebody's actually sent me one, it genuinely means a lot, as it means a lot for you guys taking the time to watch. Hope you all have enjoyed the vlog. I hope you have a fantastic bank holiday weekend. I might even check out another car boot sale. If you saw last Wednesday's video, you know I didn't have much luck last Sunday, but maybe with it being bank holiday, I'll try again. If so, you'll be seeing that on next week's vlog. Also, check into Wednesday's video. I've got those other parcels to open, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good video. I've got some work going into that one now. So, as always, thank you very much. Play your games, keep it retro, enjoy your long weekend. Take care.
Retro Ghetto.